Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Quant Network, aka QNT. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So I tweeted out saying $10,000 for QNT is the vision. Now, price predictions, prices in general do not matter at all around these tokens. And honestly, me saying any sort of price does not matter either. But the reason why I bring up $10,000 for QNT and I bring up this tweet is the fact that we have been watching Quant for a very long time. We look at the market cap compared to most of the tokens on the top 10 and, at their all-time highs. QNT would be substantially higher than what we even perceive it to be at the current moment. It would be roughly within the $1,000 to $10,000 bracket anyways, going off of like a $100 billion market cap, for an example. But I'm not going to sit here and say that it is 100% guaranteed or anything like that. What we do know is the fundamental facts. And fundamental facts is that Quant has been, not only building out partnerships that are substantially larger than most of these other tokens and what they have accomplished in such a short amount of time, and even a long time as well. Like you go and look at, Ethereum in the 7 years lifespan of it, and it has not only achieved mass adoption of the network from the retail sector, but mostly it hasn't done anything substantial within the adoption cycle from the legacy side of things. This is why I focus on Quant, because there's a ton of tokens in this space that are really kind of building out bridges to the legacy system. But the issue here is, interconnecting the two, having them communicate together. A lot of the major players within the monetary system, the IMF, BIS, SWIFT, etc., all of them are pushing towards, digitization of these systems. Now, again, what we want to focus on is regulations at the first part, which we do see from the IMF here. They're talking about the right rules could provide a safe space for innovation around crypto, and I do completely agree. I think that we need to have regulations in place. Remember, right, when we look at the tokens in the space, there's a massive amount of them, and a large portion of them are completely dust. I would argue that 99% of this market is complete trash. When we look at the 1%, though, that 1% is something special. That 1% is what could ultimately revolutionize the entire landscape of, the monetary system. Those do include Quant, Hedera, Ripple, etc. And again, those are mostly companies that aren't directly tied to their specific token. But when we look at what XRP has done in regards to like a payment consensus mechanism, it is substantial. On-demand liquidity is substantial. That is revolutionizing and innovating, beyond what anyone could really kind of perceive around finance and the monetary system. But also, we do see the digitized push. We also do see over here from the IMF, what will the monetary system of the future look like? A rich ecosystem that blends crypto's technical capabilities with central bank trustworthiness. And again, when we look at the future of the monetary systems, to me, the way that I perceive this to be is you will have to have the trustworthy factor there, which will most likely come from regulations. But also, I do believe that crypto holds the key. I think that a lot of these crypto tokens, specifically DLTs, ledgers are the key, private and even public. Which, remember what I just said in a Quant video going back, I think it was like maybe 2 weeks ago, where I was talking to you guys about a multi-ledger system. That's what we are essentially, moving towards. To me, the vision behind this market is that we will need something that intertwines the DLT systems with the legacy systems. Quant is the perfect choice for this. Not because I'm biased, not because I hold a significant amount of QNT, but because when you actually look at the fundamental success that Quant has had already testing-wise, within a substantial area with LAC Chain, C, etc., it is the number one choice. Now, again, I do believe that multi-ledgers will be utilized. I don't believe that there's a one-size-fits-all from a DLT perspective for all of these CBDCs. In fact, I think that central bankers will choose, specific ones, private and public, like I said, and that's totally fine. We've addressed this. I think that the efficiencies of some of these DLTs cater to a little bit more towards specific CBDC. Sorry, and that should be welcomed in. I think that overall collaboration within the space is something that will help this space blossom even larger than what anyone can really kind of look into. I think that a lot of predictions are there, but I don't believe that any of them really kind of hit the nail on the head. Again, we have to wait to see what actually happens around the space within the next roughly 3 to 5 to even 8 years down the road. But a lot of predictions have been in the $100 trillion market area for about 2030. Now, if that is the case, it will have to be a substantial amount of adoption within the next 3 to 5 years as well around this space. But I do believe that it starts with this. I think that it starts with revolutionizing the payment mechanisms, the monetary system itself, and this is going to take some time. This is not going to happen overnight or anything like that. But I do believe that we are moving fairly fast towards this, and it will only take a few years, in my opinion. I know that that sounds a little, too much for some people, but patience is a virtue in this space, and I do believe that a few years to really kind of make life-changing wealth should be welcomed in. But we do see like central banks should harness crypto's technical wizardry to enable a rich monetary ecosystem. It is there's no argument point against crypto being fully, ushered in around the monetary system. A few things do hold it back, like again, regulations, as well as interoperability. Those have been the two main focus points on this channel for a while now. But I do believe that we will push towards a full-on CBDC and crypto-driven system. We do see any legitimate transaction that can be carried out with crypto can be accomplished better with a central bank money. They're talking more so about how CBDCs could essentially replace crypto. It's funny that we are kind of seeing this, but to me, I don't believe that that is the case. I think that DLTs, like whatever these CBDCs will be issued out on, needs to be extremely efficient and beneficial. So to me, when we look at a lot of these CBDCs, it is going to be kind of catering towards the DLT, sector. But a few things are mentioned here. For an example, up here we do see these include the ability to program payments, combine different operations into one transaction, and generate a digital representation of money and assets, aka tokenization. We also do see the BIS quote. This is why we argue that the monetary system of the future should harness the new technical capabilities demonstrated by crypto, but be grounded in the trust central banks provide, which is also why I say, the private ledger basis on DLTs are going to be the main focus point, because that gives trust, that gives security around central banks, and they still harness the efficiencies and the power behind crypto. This is why we, focus on a lot of these DLTs at the end of the day. Now, we do see, a fraying landscape. Ethereum congestion has led DeFi users to other blockchains. And you do see a few other ones up here. You do see Ethereum, Terra, Binance, Avalanche, Phantom, Solana, Tron. And since this, article, Terra Luna has basically, it's become dust. But we will see more layer 1s and layer 2s become, major players. But what I want to focus on is this image down here. The trees and the forest, monetary flora. Central banks can be seen as the solid trunks of trees in the global monetary ecosystem. APIs, they're talking about APIs, they're talking about interoperability, they're talking about connections between crypto and the future system. We do see over here, crypto has introduced us to the possibilities of innovation, yet its most useful elements must be put on a sounder footing. By adopting new technical capabilities but building on a core of trust, central bank money can provide the foundation for a rich and diverse monetary ecosystem that is scalable and designed with the public interest in mind. And they still do talk about crypto. Like, crypto is at the forefront of everything here. Even when it does come to CBDCs, they are still talking about the programmability, the composability, and even the tokenization within this. To me, all of that is catering towards the DeFi and the DLT systems. And down here, we do see making the grade. So here is the future monetary system can improve both on today's monetary system and crypto. So the future monetary system vision, and you do see down here like status, policy, goal, broadly fulfilled, room for improvement, not generally fulfilled. A lot of the things when we look at like crypto that are pros are openness and adaptability. Policy goal broadly fulfilled is those only two. Not generally fulfilled is the dark blue. Integrity, efficiency, accountability, safety, and stability. And then we do see room for improvement is user control over data and inclusion. Now, you do see what today's monetary system has, which is safety and stability, and the rest is all room for improvement. But we do see the future monetary system vision. All of it is policy goal broadly fulfilled. When we come down here, they do mention a few things around the Brazil's PIX system, which we just recently talked about in regards to transactions and streamlining them. But they do mention a little bit more about retail CBDCs, which is digital cash, and kind of moving towards that. I do believe that there's a few things within that we have discussed that I personally do disagree with. But last but not least, I just want to mention this quote here. Digital technologies promise a bright future for the monetary system. By embracing the core of trust provided by central bank money, the private sector can adopt the best new technologies to foster a rich and diverse monetary ecosystem. Above all, users' must be at the forefront of private innovation, just as public interest must be the lodestar for central banks. Now, when we look at this, okay, a lot of the tokens in this space are going to disappear. With regulations, many in this market will cease to exist. That last remaining 1% is the things that are going to be embraced around the future money. These new technologies that they are talking about here to foster a rich and diverse monetary ecosystem are the ones that, for the most part, everyone ignores. Because all the flashiness is around a lot of the rug pulls and the trash tokens that are being, completely backed by VC money and shoved down your throats on every single, social media site. You need to jump into this token because of this and that and this. On this channel, we talk about a lot of tokens. Many of them, if not all of them, are extremely based on utility and fundamental success of them being integrated within the future system. Is it guaranteed that they will be? No, absolutely not. But with all the information that we have gathered, with all the information that we do have, what we do know is that the future of Web3 is substantial. Also, the future of crypto has been, I would say, focused more so on now than ever before from a lot of these major players, aka the BIS, IMF, World Economic Forum, as well as many other central banks around the world. A lot of these tokens are being utilized on a day-to-day basis. XRP is a token that is being utilized. QNT is a token that is being utilized. A lot of these other tokens like XDC, XLM, HBAR, etc. are all being utilized. A lot of individuals argue, why is the price not going up if they are being utilized? Well, they are not being utilized heavy enough for them to, one, disconnect from the Bitcoin dominance, and also, two, there's just not enough volume and value there being transacted. This is why we look at mass adoption. Also, I believe that this market is still extremely speculative. For an example, Ethereum started to pump off of the most idiotic things in this space, which is just memes on Twitter. When you have an asset being moved by memes on Twitter, it really kind of tells you where this market is currently, like the substantial amount of information that we have found on Quant, right, is plenty enough to move the price of QNT. If there was mass adoption of QNT and a lot of individuals were exposed to it. But that is not what we want. That's not what we care about. To me, it's more so on, the short-term price does not matter to me. Long-term price does. Long-term fundamental success does as well. And what we have seen around a lot of these, PDF files, a lot of these breakdowns of the future of money, is the fact that crypto itself will play the pivotal role here. And I think that everyone should be paying attention to this. But again, I also do believe that interoperability is the key for the success of this. Again, I mentioned this to you guys quite a bit because a lot of this market is just nonsense. And I'm going to be, straight up with you guys. I think that the reason why crypto gets a ton of hate is simply because of most of the garbage in this space. You see Dogecoin being again marketed to individuals. You see Shiba Inu being marketed to individuals. Suka, a lot of these tokens, right? I'm not saying that it's a bad thing for them to be in this market, but a lot of them just give a bad name and a bad viewership to what crypto actually is becoming. If somebody did the breakdown research on what is happening around the current monetary system and looked into a lot of these tokens like Quant, like Ripple with XRP, like XLM, etc., they would understand why we are so adamant about looking at the fundamental tokens, the utility tokens, because these are the tokens of tomorrow, not today, but tomorrow. And yes, it will take a little bit of time, for them to truly be realized in regards to their value and potential. But when that day happens, it's going to change this entire space for the better. And with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day or beautiful night. Wherever you guys are on this beautiful world, it's been Nick. Peace out, guys.